Thank you for coming to a Question for You video. A Question for You project is made for young wandering souls undergoing quarter-life crisis. It's made for my viewers, my brothers and sisters, and also for me. It's the question I asked myself. It's my thoughts on how to live life better and be my best version. And hopefully helping you becoming your best version too. So, the question for you today is, when was the last time you traveled? Traveling is the privilege that not all people has. After 60 years old, does my grandma have the second chance to go out of her birth city? Half of her life was in war, and the later half was when she struggled to make ends meet for her children, then started living. It's truly an alien thought to think about traveling when brothers and husbands are on battlefield, when you don't even know if you can secure your children's student fee for next semesters. Even in peace, there are people still fighting for their subsistence standard of living, or for their own battles. Sincerely, if you have the ability to plan or think of your next trip, you are privileged. I am writing these words in reflection of my own situation. Just days ago, I was listening to my colleagues' tight schedule of traveling Europe for this summer, and I told myself that this year I am financially impossible to go anywhere, but next year I will. However, now I am actually planning a small, within the budget trip for my birthday to Albania. I told my closest relatives at home and realized how lucky and fortunate I am to plan a trip that easy, and how privileged I am to have seen and will be fortunate enough to learn and receive treasurous lessons from traveling to different places. Like a Vietnamese saying, looking up, you see yourself low. Looking down, you see yourself on the top. I cannot say I have traveled so much, but I do have some priceless lessons that I gained from going to different places. The first lesson is personal well-being's always the foundations and top priority. Second lesson of mine is being open-minded and maintain a no-judged mindset, help adaptation. The third lesson is embracing different histories, distinguish beauty and natural force. And the last lesson is human beings is too small, so learning more is never enough. I know we can always learn these lessons in where we were born and have been living at. But I am sure traveling to different places open our eyes to concepts that you never know exist and help you understand these lessons deeply. Tell you some of my traveling experience that are turning points of my life and shape me the person I am today. At the age of 15, I traveled with my parents to the further south of Vietnam, which was in the same country, but I felt like a different nation, as I couldn't hear their speaking unless they made it more northern-like, and I didn't even think that human can use ants' eggs as food dipper. At age 22, on my way of going to the UK as a foreign student, aka my first international travel, I was so confident in myself to think that I can solo travel in Qatar for the transit time just to see how dangerous religion could be. I naively wore a crop top, had my hair down untied, showed my ankles, etc., for which the man there gave me the look of hatred and disgust. Luckily, I had the bus driver reminded me to sit at the front so he can protect, and a kind man walked me to the hotel to avoid my risk of being a female with no male accompany. And of course, living long term in the UK challenged all my knowledge and my whole life perspectives. How about you? Could you think of a travel experience that turned your life upside down? My best friend, whom I always have big love and respect for, is a person who would definitely turn down all opportunity of moving to a different place. Don't get me wrong, he likes travel and is an open-minded person. He just don't want to settle in any different place rather than his birth city. I understand that choice, but moreover, I support the idea of experiencing life in different places and countries big time if anyone have an opportunity to do that. If you watched my previous videos, you may know that my family was lower class and my whole childhood and teenage life, to the age of 18, my widest dream had always been studying abroad. And the feeling of breathing the UK air first time to me was surreal. I can definitely share much more of my story in next videos if you would like. But my main point here is strongly encouraging everyone to travel while you can. It is not just enlightening our brain, widening our eyes, but also opening our hearts and nurturing our soul to the point that you couldn't ever imagine.